So I hear you're wanting to buy a 2026 Ferrari F80. Yeah, neither am I. But if you were, the technology is wild. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is going to be fun. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so the 2026 Ferrari F80's technology is wild, and here's how it works. This is coming from Motor Trend. Okay, the 2026 Ferrari F80 is a technological tour de force built to showcase what the 80-year-old Italian automaker is capable of. Planning began back in 2018, simultaneously with the 499P Endurance Racer, a car that just won its third consecutive 24 hours of Le Mans. Yeah, if I had to go after any kind, if I could and wanted to go after one of them exotic cars, it would be a Ferrari. It wouldn't be a Lambo. It wouldn't be a Bugatti. It would be a Ferrari. And that's just my opinion. But when can I ever afford one of those? But anyway, Ferrari repeatedly mentioned that building a race car is easier than building a road car. Hence, the additional 2 years of development needed for the F80. There's so much more cutting-edge technology debuting on the F80. We felt an overview separate from our first drive review was in order. Of course, the following only scratches the surface of the R&D effort that makes the F80 so incredibly special. The crazy part is that from behind the wheel, you have no idea that you're essentially piloting a science laboratory. A science laboratory. You're a driving laboratory. The F80 deploys all its tech not only seamlessly, but also with dogged devotion to making the car fun to drive, perhaps more than any other vehicle we've driven. The powertrain. The low-mounted gas engine is the same 120-degree 3-liter block used in both the Ferrari 296 and the three-peat Le Mans Champ 499P, but with several notable differences to make more power. More power. The F80's engine uses twin 48-volt turbochargers that can spin to 130,000 RPMs. Together, they produce 3.7 bar of boost or 55.5 psi. 55 psi of boost. The highest ever on a production car. For some semblance of comparison, the new Porsche 911 GTS T Hybrid also uses its hybrid system to spin a single electric turbo to 125,000 RPMs and produce 26 psi, netting 478 horsepower out of a 3.6-liter engine on its own. But the 133 horse per liter, well, that's almost double. 55 pounds of boost where the Porsche 911 was only pushing 26 pounds. Wow. In comparison, the F80's similar six-banger delivers 296 horsepower per liter. 296 horsepower per liter. And it's a 3-liter. On its own, the highest ever out of a production car for 888 total horsepower. The 499's version of this engine produced 670 horse. And the one in the 296 street car is good for 654 horsepower. To underline it, the F80's V6 produces 234 additional horsepower from the same displacement. That lofty boost results in peak cylinder pressure 20% higher than those in the 296. The highest ever on a production Ferrari. Weight-saving measures were employed to all aspects of the engine. The lower and upper crankcase, all driveline componentry, cam covers, and all the bolts are titanium. The result is that even with the added heft of the E-turbos, the engine weighs the same as the one found in the 296. Dang. The two electric motors that power the front axle are made in-house by Ferrari and spin up to 30,000 RPMs. The motors used in Formula E peak at 2,800 RPMs. Each one is good for 148 horsepower, putting total powertrain output at 1,184 horse. The Aston Martin Valkyrie's big naturally aspirated V12 combines with its hybrid motors to make 1,139 horse. So we're looking at about 50 more. The F80's front motors are juiced by either the 2.3 kilowatt hour battery packs or the small MGU-K motor that also acts as a starter and can produce some accelerative power between shifts. Mounted underneath the driver's seat cylinder bank. The long rectangular battery weighs 88 pounds. Is mounted low transversely behind the seats. It is covered by the Forever Ferrari program. So in 10 years, when better battery tech is available, Ferrari will replace it with something superior. That is an amazing looking car. Aerodynamics. The lower opening on the front of the Ferrari F80 is called the S-duct and feeds three wings, aka the tri-wing. The tri-wing splits treated air out of the hole in the F80's hood that's then routed over the cabin and under the rear wing. Simultaneously, a sharp upturn at the back of the black bar between the headlights directs air over the same wing. Air is also fed to two vortex generators that sit below your feet and extend beyond the front wheels. Their purpose is to shape the air being fed along the doors. The shields, essentially protruding flattened front fenders, protect the air going into the outer parts of the F80's body from the dirty air coming off the front wheels. It gets wilder. You see the two little openings below the giant black blades on the snout. Each of those pulls air into the front subframe. The aluminum crash rails spars are hollow, and cooling air flows through each to hollow portions of the stock tower castings. Then to hoses that cool the large front CCMR plus brakes. They put a lot of thought into this one, didn't they? There are massive NACA ducts mounted atop the doors and the rear bodywork that stuck cooling air into the engine. Two of the four rear radiators, There are 3 up front, and rear brakes. The diffuser also feeds the rear brakes cooling air from below. That's a large groony flap under the snout that stalls out the tri-wing when appropriate. The massive underbody diffuser begins below your feet and rakes upward raises up toward the back of the F80. To achieve the rake needed, the engine and transmission are both angled up 1 degree towards the rear. There are 3 Burge boards, Vortec generators per side under the front of the F80. You can see one when the butterfly door opens, sticking out behind the front wheels. That helps remove dirty air from entering the diffuser's path. All of this is helped by the 48-volt multimatic dampeners that not only work to keep the F80 completely flat in corners, but also ensures the ride height stays aerodynamically optimal. Jeez. I hate to see what the price is for one of these things. The rear wing is active and powered by 4 12-volt motors. Ferrari also went with an asymmetrical cockpit where the driver sits about 4 inches ahead of the passenger, which allows the cabin to be narrower and therefore aerodynamically better. To achieve all of this aero magic, Ferrari performed about 2,500 computational fluid dynamics simulations, 8 wind tunnel tests with half scale model, 5 sessions with a full model, and then more than 2,000 miles of real world tests. Again, this is just for aerodynamic development. The results are 1,012 pounds of downforce on the front axles and 1,298 pounds at the rear. All right, dynamics. How long is this thing? Let's see. I don't know if we're gonna. We don't have a whole lot left. We'll keep going. But this thing is crazy. Dynamics. All 4 corners of the Ferrari F80 are suspended by active 48-volt inboard pushrod dampeners. There are several benefits to inboard dampeners, with the biggest being improved aerodynamics, especially at the front of the vehicle where the bodywork can be more compact. Other benefits include less weight due to an anti-roll bars, less unsprung mass, a superior camber angle correction factor, and claimed improved dynamics. The dampener's active function serves two primary roles: optimize the aerodynamics as discussed above and deliver superior ride quality. The front and rear control arms look like alien technology lifted straight off the Zinger. And while Zinger's patent company Divergent Technology does supply several OEM, including Ferrari, with interactive AI-developed components, the F50's control arms were developed in-house. The braking system is by wire, meaning there are no physical connections between the pedal and the calipers. And the CCMR Plus brake rotors are lifted directly from the 280 or 296 Challenge Racer and are made by Brembo Racing as opposed to regular passenger car supplier Brembo. There's an available extreme performance tire from Michelin called the Pilot Sport Cup 2R. These tires are motorsport delivered and contain 27 rubber components. The tires measure 285/30/20s front and 345/30/21s in the rear. I would hate to mount those things. And I've mounted a lot of tires in my days. I've mounted a ton of tires, and I would hate to mount those. Boost optimization. Borrowing a page from the F1 and endurance racing, there's a special track mode called boost optimization. It's activated via controls on the yoke-style steering wheel. Essentially, before you start lapping, you perform a single lap where the F80's brain notes corners, apexes, grip levels, and ambient temperatures. Then when you begin lapping, the computer knows where best to dole out the extra electric powers at the front wheels. Once at speed on a straight, the computer then instructs the MKUG to recharge the 2.3 kilowatt hour batteries in anticipation of blasting out of the next corner. There is of course qualifying mode where all 1,184 ponies are at your disposal. But that's only good for a single lap. Activating boost optimization ensures that the battery stays juiced for your entire track session. Okay, here's where it gets real here. Ferrari forever. Talk to almost any gearhead about the epic LaFerrari hypercar and the high cost of replacing the hybrid system's battery will no doubt come up. To allay these fears, the Ferrari Forever program promises to replace the 88-pound 2.3 kilowatt hour pack not only when needed due to age or other factors, but also when superior battery chemistry becomes available. So that mean they replace it for free for you? Or they'll just replace it for $100,000 or whatever. In fact, there's already a new improved battery unit available for the LaFerrari. We presume the cost of such an upgrade is buried within the F40's nearly $4 million price tag. We presume the cost of such upgrade will be buried within. So I'm assuming that $4 million is for the upgraded battery. If the battery ever comes out, they'll just throw it in for you. You know what? You spent $4 million on a car here. We can sport you a battery. But anyway, that is the Ferrari F80. And I'll put some pictures up along the way if I didn't already, but you can go onto their website and look at this. Man, this car is crazy. It's like almost not even a freaking car, but it's crazy. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. Just in case you were thinking about buying one of these, there you go. That's why you want one, and that's about how much you're going to pay for one. But anyway, do the YouTube stuff. You know the drill. Do the stuff, and we appreciate you. We're getting close to monetization. We should be there hopefully by the end of the year. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Love you. See you in the next one.